in all of this study around, is there something on the horizon? I mean, we see ourselves in the postmodern era. Do we see something else on the horizon? Do we see another shift?
Well, two things. I think the end of postmodernism is already academically in the academy present because it doesn't work. But it will not go away that easily. It's like deconstructionism. Deconstructionism is dead in France because it doesn't work. But it's hot now. Everybody's Derrida, Desmain, Foucault, all these people. But they used to say when it comes alive in Europe and dies in Europe, it goes to England, and dies in England, and comes to America, and it dies, and then it dies every place. Americans would be very surprised. It's like the influence of Whitehead and the brilliant doctors at the turn of the century. Those are British. How come they're doing the end? How come Flu? Now, he's not what? He's not American. What's he doing to influence anybody? Well, see, intellectuals are interested in ideas. And whoever's got them, they might listen.
That's how they make their living. They traffic in ideas.
That's good. Thank you very much. They traffic in ideas.
So you think that's why the intelligent design movement is really being squashed or attempted to be? They're really in America.
Now, there's no question, because I do not believe that the grounding of that discussion is adequate. Because it's in a vacuum, what happened to the design argument in the 17th to 18th century? Huh? And it's thrown out. So anybody that knows the history of thought knows, well, you're trying to get the design argument back, and design is not the discussion. What's the discussion is cosmic design. We're quite cognizant of design. But that's where you get structuralism and all kinds of cultural relativism. Of course it's got a design, but that doesn't go from there to proving God. See, only the universe could even remotely talk about that must be an intelligent design. It's too complex just to be by statistic randomization be isolated.
So you think that's what's different about this discussion is
yes,
suddenly talking about it at the cosmic scale?
Yes, yes.
And not just, I mean, even what about organic scale? Like, you know, the
well, see,
cell.
that at best is just the Earth.
Okay, so it's too small. But since we're talking about the whole universe.
I'm not opposed to it, it's just too small. That's how come they're being beat to death.
So that's why in astronomy, you've got astronomers that are going, wow.
Now, astronomy, this is the last 40, 50 years, astronomers, not Christians, are open to discussing cosmology again because of the advances in the science itself. It's really complex. We've got to account, you can account, it's either eternal, so you don't have a problem, or if it's not eternal, first and second, third laws of thermodynamics doesn't propose that. So if it's not eternal, it must have a finite origin. If it has an origin, what is the origin of the origin? A Big Bang steady state, or it begs the question.
Contingent.
It's contingent. Well, of course, all finite systems are contingent, but contingent to who or what. So we have to take it to the ground. They're not to the ground. All I'm saying, these are fine. Read it. Have students read all these creation, Morse, all this. Not unimportant. But you see, it's not addressing what caused the problem, because it's primarily about geology and biology, and that's only about the Earth. And the Earth's a small fry in this discussion.
Cosmology is a bigger player.
And cosmology is where I want to ground the whole discussion. Then that comes to geology, and then come to biology, and come to genetics, come to microbiology.
I've seen a number of articles recently about Big Bang's kind of under attack again. Do you think it's just desperation trying to remove a beginning again?
Well, first of all, that's exactly what Big Bang was. It is an effort to avoid talking about the absolute origin of the universe.
But it says there's a beginning.
But it says, what's the beginning? The universe as we know it, but there was something there before any bang.
I see.
And of course there's no evidence, scientific. What's the evidence of how big the bang was?
Background radiation?
See, but you see, they're interpreting mathematical equations on background radiation.
Well, it does
Red
have-
star and black star, all these things. But see, these aren't sermons for a high school camp.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I mean, but that's the thing. I guess, its legitimacy seems to be illustrated by its predictive power.
Now,
Like like Gamow predicting the background radiation, then 30 years later they discovered it.
it's like Einstein. When they asked Einstein about the proof for his relativity, he said, I don't need any proof. Mathematical equations are intact. And a little while later, it was supported. Every one of Einstein's theses within 10, 15 years were justified. But he said, I don't need research. If these equations are intact, this is the case. If the universe is structured, this is the case. If it's not structured, it won't be the case. Well, so he just said, I don't need research. He wasn't a research man. He was a mathematician operating.
The Hoyle had a metaphysical bias to try to push steady state.
Now, the steady state only talks about something after it's already here.
To account for why it's here.
Account for why it's here and what else?
And what it appears to be.
Steady, what you mean by steady?
Eternal.
Has it always been like this? It's back to time and chance. Chance doesn't cause anything. Time doesn't cause anything. Say 20 million years. Well, first of all, I don't know anything about that. And you don't either. But they're trying to give time for these events to happen. See, you're not only, if you're going to have building blocks, they have to replicate and then stay alive long enough to do what with others. Do the periodic chart. See, they can replicate some things, but their lifespan is so small, they're not the criteria for the development of the system. Because their existence is not very long. But they can make them, yeah. But they can only duplicate what? What's there. They can't make what's there. No, it's life or death for Christianity at this time.
Further question though on intelligent design, they, with the help of the electron microscope, 50,000 magnification, are saying that Darwinism, neo-Darwinism, punctuated equilibrium, does not give adequate answers as to what is going on in the human cell when a DNA molecule gets unraveled and the RNA duplicates it and on and on.
Without any question. See, that's why most evolutionists are not Darwinian. But that doesn't mean that most naturalists have abandoned evolution.
Some kind of,
Obviously they have.
no, some faith. Huh?
It's some kind of faith statement. They're not Darwinian. They know there's weakness in Darwin, but they haven't given up. They're just expanding their...
They see no viable alternative.
They see no viable alternative because the only viable alternative is the creation of the universe by a personal God that's intelligent enough to create a highly complex universe.
And that's not an option.
And that's not an option.
That's right, that's the whole problem. That's why it's shut.
Oh, I have no question that it's a faith statement.
Yeah, it has to be that way. It has to be.
That's the only way. The alternatives are finite.
Yeah.
See, but we also have to see and feel where we lost that kind of transcendent God, lost that in the 17th and 18th century. And it's going to go very hard into that dark night to recover it again. Well, you're concerned trying to recover the past. Oh no, I'm trying to recover the foundation of everything. I'm not trying to recover the past.
Gotta go where the facts lead.
Well, see, they want facts, but they also have presuppositions concerning what facts enter into the discussion.
No uninterpreted facts.
Yeah, no uninterpreted facts. I believe that's where worldview comes in. There's no uninterpreted facts. I believe that.
Do you think there's a danger in hitching a wagon to a cosmology as Christians?
Well, any particular cosmological theory, the telescope or whatever you want to, cosmic design or biochemical or physical. But you see, there's an ultimate norm, which is the claim of creation, to see how, if any sense can be made out of that. So there's an ultimate. See, you don't go any farther than that. That's why the discussions in cosmology, they thought that all the arguments had to go into an infinite regress and reach an impasse. No, there's a stopping point. And the stopping point is the universe.